In the beginning, the trees seemed to stretch on forever. When an expanding America called for lumber, the forests were cut in wide swaths. The land renews, but its capacity to regenerate forests, to nurture species, and to provide jobs has been diminished. We need to find new ways to survive and flourish in productive harmony. This is a simple story, though it has several parts. In the groves and forests of California's north coast, the many species of plants and wildlife are interdependent with human choices for their survival. Within a potentially productive region, there are workers and businesses ready to be connected to a world economy. There is a vast consuming public making choices every day to support environmental responsibility. All we need is a system where responsible production and concerned consumers work together. And that's our story. Most of the forests in Northern California belong to big timber companies or the government. Since the early 90s, logging on federal lands has been cut to practically nothing by environmental concerns. In a region so dependent on timber resources, that leaves small landowners and businesses trying to make a living, and a lot of people out of work. Harwood Products is a small family-owned sawmill located in Branscombe, California. Art Harwood is the general manager.
We employ about 200 people and are pretty concerned about what happens in our forests and our communities. Companies like ours and a lot of small landowners have always considered the environmental impact of logging. But until recently, there was no way to identify sustainably harvested wood and no advantage in the marketplace.
Harwood is exploring a way out of this dilemma. One part is to move more of the finishing of wood products closer to home, to retain profitability within their region. That's called value added. The other is to increase the market for responsibly produced wood through independent certification.
The social and economic structure of local communities. So how we'll get past that? We're right now involved in certifying.
In the early 90s, environmental and community groups and businesses created the Forest Stewardship Council. Its logo is already having a big impact in Europe, and it's being promoted in North America. When a customer sees the logo on a piece of wood, it's been tracked from a certified forest through manufacturing to the shelf or showroom. The Forest Stewardship Council guarantees in any forest which has been certified, a plan's been developed and implemented. It means the forest will be managed to protect the whole ecology, as well as providing a renewable source of jobs and revenue.
This is the whole purpose behind certification, is to try to get the consumer to realize that where their wood is coming from.
The area above the road is also done. We'll probably come in and lop the brush a little bit and kind of clean it up, but basically everything is cut that's going to be cut. And then that's pretty much it. Just let it grow for another 10 or 15 years.
Boy, look at that. I mean, it's like a park.
You know, the trees all look in pretty good shape. There's very minimal scarring along the corridor, but you're going to get some of that anyway, and that's the thing that I like, that I think makes it look good. God, I'm actually pretty amazed that all the ferns and stuff are as undisturbed down here as they appear to be.
This is an example of a certified timber harvest plan and certified management plan for this property. And what you can see from looking at it is that, first of all, the equipment here is designed to very carefully remove the trees that we want to bring out without damaging what's left. And then when you look at the stand at what is left, what you see is trees that are very well spaced, thinned out properly, so they're going to continue to grow at a fairly rapid pace.
We're not talking about a real lot of complex philosophy and a lot of really difficult kind of management strategies. I think basically what it is people who are willing to improve the forest today to get some return at some point in the future. And when you do that, other benefits accrue. I mean, you know, the wildlife benefits, the economic benefits. And, you know, part of my job and part of Ken's job is to make sure these people realize a return on their investment. The aesthetics and everything else goes with that, but basically we're managing an economic investment here. So good forestry and good economics, to me, go hand in hand.
But I think eventually everyone, all loggers will be working this way. I can't see any other solution. I mean, there's just everybody to some degree is going to start doing this kind of logging.
If I'm going to involve the landowner, if I'm going to either pay them more money or get them involved or whatever it is, I have to be guaranteed that the market end's going to respond to it. Where certification is selling now is not into the commodity materials that are being produced for, particularly, let's say, in the north coast of California where we live. It's really in finished products. And what are those finished products?
Like value added.
Value added.
Products,
It's
yeah.
flooring, it's furniture, it's shelving.
I mean, we're basically faced with trying to bring together the landowner, the logger, different manufacturers in different steps of the operation, the marketing, and these are all different individuals who have their own separate businesses. They're not connected financially at all, other than they're all dependent upon each other, but trying to coordinate all those different people to do this is a big challenge.
Harwood Products has been around for 3 generations. Art spends much of his time these days talking with folks, making connections, planning for a future which is sustainable for the land, sustainable economically, and not incidentally, good business for Harwood.
I don't know if you guys are looking at certification at all, but I think that's something that you should probably look at. I know there's a tribe in, I think it's Wisconsin, the Menominee has certified all their timberlands, and I think there's some advantages in the marketplace. I think you can realize more money for your logs if you are certified. And so if you're already managing in that fashion, you know, it only makes sense to do that.
4 years ago, Harwood helped John Asbill and his nephew, Paul, buy a logging truck. Many of the people who supply Harwood with lumber are Native Americans, and the tribes own significant forest lands.
The global marketplace for that kind of wood is really expanding, but they want this added value, you know, where you go in and you dry it and you cut it up and you glue it back together and you do all these different things. That creates a lot of jobs.
Sure it does. If we go ahead and manage it, grow it right, market it right, good quality stuff, you know, I mean, that's the goal. That's what we got to look for.
When you can stand there and look people in the eye and say, hey, we're doing it in a sustainable manner, that's something to be proud of. And I think pride is something we've lost in our logging communities.
Today, Art's flying up to the town of Hayfork. Their mill is closing, and some local people are putting on a fair to explore ways of working with the changed conditions.
We think we have a lot of knowledge to bring to the table about how to keep these forests sustainable. You know, we've got our Native American population is here. It's been in place for 10,000 years. They know a lot about these forests. They should have a voice at the table. We believe that if what you're going to do is ecosystem management, then you need people working on the ground who understand the entirety of that ecosystem. We're loggers, we're miners, we're farmers. We like to live here. And the projects that we've put together to help the forests stay intact can also help our communities stay intact. It's the market connection we don't have. And it's the market connection that will make it or break it.
You talk about value added.
Oh, man.
I mean, if you can get into making the paneling.
We're right now getting about 2.3 man-years of labor for every 1 million board feet that's manufactured in this mill. The study that we did shows that when you go to secondary manufacturing, that raises up to about 18 man-years per million.
Now there's an incredible change. So by working, you know, on a smaller basis with the value added, if you can come close to achieving that, it's not inconceivable that you could replace the 150 jobs at this mill fairly easily.
Absolutely. So we see this as the viable option, the beginning of the transition between kind of unlimited old growth harvesting and new forest management.
I think it's going to go into the product line we want to make pretty well. So What we're going to do is we're going to take this to Reading, have it dried and processed into a value-added material. That's nice. Yeah. It's on a real good edge. You can't even...
From the forest to the consumer, Harwood is in the middle, providing a bridge between sustainable logging, value-added manufacturing, and responsible marketing.
If we get into a catalog sort of thing, we can advertise. The biggest thing is we're still on the leading edge, cutting edge of this thing.
Harwood has the capacity to catalyze change, with annual revenues of more than $40 million and hundreds of skilled employees. Harwood was one of the first companies to endorse the Series Principles, the most comprehensive environmental reporting process for business. Art has crisscrossed his region to establish enduring relationships, and the company is exploring European sales. Recently, Art Harwood was in Oaxaca, Mexico, to participate in the first assembly of the Forest Stewardship Council.
Asimismo tenemos al biólogo Salvador Anta Fonseca, delegado estatal de Semarnat.
No forestry initiative has captured more attention than certification through the Forest Stewardship Council. Certification challenges wasteful practices by allowing consumers to choose products from forests which are sustainably harvested. Certification provides a market-based incentive for improved forest management and opportunities for those committed to producing and marketing certified wood products.
If you're going to have a strategic plan, you have to put it in the context of the external environment.
B&Q is the largest retailer of home improvement products in the UK. We've got about 280 stores, 18,000 staff, and our turnover was probably about 1.3 billion sterling pounds last year. And what B&Q's attempting to achieve, and quite confident we will achieve it, is actually we're not going to give the customers the choice. You know, you can only buy timber from well-managed forests at B&Q, because we know there isn't a single customer out there who actually prefers timber from badly managed forests. You know, we don't have a customer saying, I want slash and burn timber from Brazil, please.
A company like Harwood, you know, that's just now getting into the certified arena, really has a ready-made market. If we can supply a product that's a quality product and is certified, then you're going to look very favorably at carrying that on your shelves.
One interesting part of the policy which the board put in when we agreed that the new target to have every single product we sell made of wood certified by the end of 1999 was that if a product is certified under the FSC scheme, it cannot, by company policy, be discontinued in favour of an uncertified product.
Because once we're on your shelves, then we have a
You've got a window of
big
opportunity, you like to solidify your status in that.
Some of the research that we've done in the United States indicates, as an example, to gain FSC certification. We actually have a very interesting effort that is the first certified wood products North American buyers group ever to be established. And you have an IKEA furniture, for example, a very large furniture manufacturing operation in the world. But what's interesting to note is not only that the Home Depot is sitting at the table, but some of the other players that are also at the table in this discussion right now, like the Gap, like Starbucks. What they're saying is, we're interested in certified wood. Can you supply us? Can you supply us in the volume, in the species, in the grades that we're really interested in doing what we need to do? And when those collectively, those companies speak, what happens is it drives a whole set of political, financial agendas.
In the front here.
Hi, I'm David Edelson with the Natural Resources Defense Council in San Francisco.
One thing that NRDC plans to do is reach out to our members and the members of other environmental and consumer groups and the general public to educate them about the possibilities of using their pocketbooks to actually improve the environment rather than harming the environment.
I think we see unusual opportunities in the natural resource field for actually connecting commercial activity with conservation priorities.
If I do this to that tree, it does that to this stream, it does that to these fish, it does this to my town.
If it isn't our private lands that are going to produce it, it's going to be someone in a third world country that has a lot less ability to affect policy and change as we do in the United States. The world is no longer a place where there's any place that anybody can hide. You know, we can steward the land for them. We're here. We see it every day. We know what it's like.